So just to kick things off, just like Cindy just said, Shane and I will be tag teaming this presentation today. I'm going to tell you just a little bit more about imaging in general, and a little bit about the Nearmap imaging model, so you can better understand what you can achieve with, I guess, repeat capture, high resolution aerial imagery. And then Shane is going to show you how all of this comes together in asset management for the city of Carmel. And so moving forward, here we go. So in today's world, more of the permitting and asset management process is being done remotely. There are a number of factors that have gone into this. One is just increased efficiency. And of course, we have, tremendous disadvantages in light of what's going on with COVID. The benefit of all of this change that's happened in 2020 is we're learning, as a people, to be more efficient and to do more things remotely. And in order to do that, people are looking towards aerial imaging and with the field of what we call scientifically remote sensing. So I'm going to tell you just a little bit about that and give you a high level of overview of the types of imagery that you actually get to choose from just in the field. So there are three main types of imagery. One is SATs, and Brian did a great job talking about a radar satellite earlier, so I thought that was fantastic. And then there's, I'm going to focus on actually though what I would say what humans can see. So just pictures taken from satellites from space. I could spend hours talking to you about all the cool technology that's up on SATs. So first we have satellites, and then we have aircraft, and then we have drones. These are three different types of imagery, all have compelling capabilities and limitations that you need to consider. And so I'm just going to start really quickly, high level, with SATs. So SATs, like I said, I'm just going to talk about Earth observing, what you would call an electro-optical satellite. These are just like you taking your camera phone and you're just putting it in space. It's a much more sophisticated camera, but it gives us that ability to take pictures, huge, big swath pictures, all the way from outer space, which allows us to take pictures in a repetitive fashion without anything inhibiting our ability to take that picture, but clouds, sun angle, and basically environmental factors. And then there's aircraft. This is where we're going to take our camera and we're going to bring it a little closer to Earth, which means our picture, our swath, is going to get a little smaller. That's what I'm showing you right here. But with the right imaging system, we can actually take pretty big pictures. And because that camera is a lot closer, that picture is a lot clearer and the resolution is higher. And then you can go into the drone space where you can get an amazing clarity on your image, but now your camera is super close to the object, which means the imaging area is teeny tiny. And so you just have to consider all of that when you're imaging for asset management. What's the right balance and what's the right resolution for your task at hand? And so moving forward, just to revisit this, you have satellites. Like I said, the SATs in space, so you have a lot of flexibility, but your resolution is coarser because the camera's far away. And so they image, anywhere in the human visual system between 30 centimeters to 30 meters in resolution, or what we call in the SAT community, ground sampling distance. You can get images all the time, but the main limitation is resolution. And so for asset management, if you need to see condition, and sometimes you need to see multiple angles on the same day, SAT may not always be the best solution for you. But they come with other sensors as well, to Brian's points earlier. So it's something for you to consider. Moving forward, aircraft, look at the zoom level that we just achieved, going from a SAT to aircraft. This is an image taken by Nearmap on the same day as this image taken by a Maxar satellite. So the resolution has now bumped up because our camera is closer, and I can see intimate levels of detail in these model aircraft. And I can see detail not just on the aircraft, but on the people. If you look at the man that's standing right here, I can actually see his position, and I can see that he's reading his cell phone on the ground. And so when you consider that in terms of what you can see in terms of asset condition, position, and basically just being able to interpret what you need to see, aircraft are fantastic. Depending on altitude of the aircraft, It can be anywhere from 20 centimeters to 5 centimeters. And then you have drones. I didn't have a drone image of that last model air show, but drones, again, impeccable resolution, teeny tiny footprint. So just to focus on aerial imagery, because obviously I work with Nearmap. What Nearmap has done is tried to combine a bit of that satellite revisit model of the satellite. Satellites constantly orbit the Earth and can constantly take pictures, with the aerial model of bringing that camera close to ground. So we want to have a high rate of revisit or recapture with that impeccable resolution of getting that camera closer. Typically, an aerial imaging company it costs quite a bit to actually organize a capture program. And then they have to process all the data, and then it arrives. Sometimes it can be out of date. But oftentimes it's a large process. And our goal as a business was to just make that process more efficient and pump more imagery out faster to help our customers to see things more clearly, to achieve that higher zoom level than is available in Google, and to get the imagery as quickly as possible from that moment of capture. So we do that using sophisticated cameras that we own and operate. We have our own proprietary system that rapidly takes all of the pictures that we have to take in order to collect the whole region of the Earth. And we process those using that proprietary system, which just means we stitch all the pictures together. We color balance it so it all looks smooth and clear. We even have a psychologist on staff that actually measures the human response to imagery to make sure that we're tuning that imagery to what is the most aesthetic for our customers, to make it easier to interpret and to make you look better when you're presenting on that imagery. And then we pump it through a web-based platform, so it's at your fingertips. And we will image up to 3, sometimes on rare occasion 4 times a year across the United States and Canada. We're actually a Sydney-based country, so we image Australia 1 to 6 times a year, New Zealand, and you can see an example of our coverage footprint if you just type in Nearmap coverage in Google. So you can see what our repeat capture rate looks like in your area. We also, just so you know, outside of just taking pictures of the ground, we actually collect 3D imagery as well. And so this is a coverage model of our 3D footprint. And so using our sophisticated cameras, we have found a way to not just create that 2D image, but we can also show you 3D imagery at 15 centimeter resolution. And that's updated yearly. And so for a high level of overview of everything that Nearmap offers, we offer vertical, panorama, and we also take oblique images as well. And Shane's going to show you a little bit more about those. But in addition, as was been mentioned previously by John, which I greatly appreciate, we also provide integration options and just flexibility in the way that you are able to access and obtain the insight from our imagery. So we offer API options. Like I said, we offer 3D. We have 3D APIs you could utilize if you need them. And then because we're collecting up to 3 times a year, we have a rich stack of data, which Shane's going to talk to you about as well. But now we're using that data combined with artificial intelligence to extract GIS information as well. So stay tuned, great things coming there. And with that, I'm going to just talk to you a little bit about Carmel, Indiana. So this is where Shane's going to present from. We collect there twice a year with vertical, once a year with our oblique data, 3D and AI captures, because we produce AI-derived GIS information across all of our capture areas, all of our vertical footprint once a year. And so with that, I'm going to let Shane take over and show you a little bit more about the great stuff that he's doing in Carmel, and he'll tell you a little bit about how they're utilizing Nearmap imagery today.
Hello, everyone. I'm Shane Burnham. Tell you a little bit about Carmel. This is all going to make sense here in a few minutes about our growth. Carmel is a suburban Indianapolis area in the Indy Metro. Last year in 2020, not sure how that happened. Last year in 2020, oh my, threw me off here. We hit a milestone of a population of 100,000 residents. That was huge for us. Carmel is known as the city of roundabouts. Right now we have 137 roundabouts and counting. So we love our roundabouts. Again, I'm going to show you more about that here in a minute. A little bit about our utility. We have roughly right now around 32,000 utility customers. Carmel does own its own utility. So we handle all of our own billing, all of our own maintenance, all of our own operations with our own utility. Little bit about our stormwater billing program. This is something we got up and running in 2014, just with the exponential growth of Carmel, to fund our new drainage projects, new storm sewer maintenance, and new storm sewer construction, BMPs, etc. So not to go in the weeds of how this program is built, but basically, in a nutshell, residential properties get a flat fee. That flat fee, don't quote me on this, is around $5.80 a month. And that fee grows organically by 3% every year. Commercial properties are built a little bit differently. Commercial properties are based on a variable fee of the property's impervious surface, or hard surface, sometimes it's called. The amount of square footage on the lot that the business owned is determined into the billing factor in which they are billed every month. And so this generates, as of last year, about $3.8 million of revenue. So this is very important for us. It's a very critical revenue stream. Why Nearmap? As I keep harping about, Carmel is a very fast developing area. And back to Amanda's point, Carmel in the past has received one aerial flyover a year from our subordinate county, Hamilton County. We needed more than one aerial capture per year to keep our GIS data sets up to date, the ones that we digitize. One aerial flyover a year just was not cutting it. So I'm gonna veer here a little bit. What you see right now that I got in front of me, this is some of our impervious surface data sets in our GIS data, what you see in purple. This right here is, I chose this example just for effect. As you can see, this service that I'm consuming right now is from 2015. I'm gonna go ahead and just turn the latest imagery from Nearmap on. Yeah, look at that. That's growth in just about 4 years that you see right there. So as you can see, keeping these data sets up to date with one flyover a year was a near impossibility. We had to have that constant coverage that Nearmap provides. Go back here. And not just for keeping our utility hard surface data sets up to date. Once the city found out about this product that we all buy into from Nearmap, everybody was on board. Everybody ate it up like candy. You have a web-based interface that allows for multi-year viewing, which I'm going to show you here in a second. That interface also has oblique photography, which you can measure heights off of, which I'm also going to demo here in a second. And you can consume it as a image service through ArcGIS Server, Portal, and CityWorks. And going back to ArcGIS Pro here, as you can see, I have the service loaded here in my project. That service is not consumed traditionally like an image service. It's a WMS service. So when you load it into your map, it authenticates because obviously you don't want every Tom, Dick, and Harry having access to your Nearmap license. So I'm gonna go here. So what I've done here is, actually, I'm gonna go here first. So right here, this is Nearmap's web-based interface. This can be consumed anywhere. So this can be consumed out of the office. It's contactless. It can be viewed from home. You don't need to be connected to any kind of network or anything. It's a subscription, so you buy a license, and that license is billed every year. But what I wanted to show you guys, and this is one of many examples around our fair city. This image was taken in March of 2017. Down here, they have the slider that lets you move forward or backward in time. Right here in 2017, we had 3 flyovers that year. We have one in March, we have one in May, and we have one in September. Like I said, Carmel is the city of roundabouts. This is probably one of the more dramatic examples I found. I actually posted this image on my LinkedIn the other day. So I'll show you March of 2017, and then I'll show you May of 2017. Look at that. Uh-oh, bazinga, look at that. Construction starting. And then I'll go to September of 2017, still being built. February of 2018, everything's said and done. And this is one of many examples of the growth that we're seeing right now in Carmel that I could show you around the city. Carmel right now is in the middle of a 3 to 5 year infrastructure blitz. So Nearmap is super, super helpful in showing any future planning that we might want to do, showing that infrastructure being built right before your eyes. But going back to CityWorks, what I've got here, this is a service request I've created inside CityWorks in our test environment. Obviously in our test environment, not in our production environment, because I would be screamed at by our code enforcement people right now. Anyway, so what I did was I created a service request. Joe Schmo called in. Joe Schmo is concerned that his neighbor has a fence that is too high. Forward to code enforcement for possible height violation. Well, what you can do with the oblique photography, the bird's eye photography in Nearmap, is I can go to this address right here, 11605 Rolling Springs Drive. I'm just going to copy and paste it. So Nearmap, like most web-based mapping products, you have this handy dandy address finder up here. So I'm going to go ahead and paste that address in there. There it is. So I'm going to go over to it. 11605 Rolling Springs Drive. Joe Schmo is mad about their fence. It's too high. Well, let's take a look. So down here, you can select your different types of photography that are captured in your service area. So I am going to go to the oblique photography. And there it is. So I'm going to angle over. This isn't a very good angle to capture a height. So I'm going to angle, viewing this to the west. I'll go back to oblique here. So Joe Schmo is concerned about this fence height. Well, I'm going to measure it without having to go out there. So I'm going to go up here to height. I'm start in this corner, and I'm going to go up. 4.67 feet. They're in code. We're fine. So I'll go back in here. I'll put my comment. Fence height is 4.67 feet, is within city code regulation. So that just saved our code enforcement people at most an hour. Quantifying that saves you 3-4 trips a day. So add that up over a year, you know, maybe over 900 to 1,000 hours saved per year. Pretty handy. And the other thing I wanted to show you guys is, like I was saying earlier, Nearmap can be consumed inside Portal, inside our GIS server. It can be consumed as a WMS service again, like I said. And what you can do with sharing, you can share this out to only certain groups or your organization, and you can lock it down so that not everybody can access this service. And then you can take this service and you can load it into your web maps. So I've got our yearly photography on right now. I'll just go ahead and load Nearmap right here. And there it is. Bam. And then of course you can build web apps off of this. Here's a web app that we use internally right here. Nearmap's right here. There it is for your consumption. And that is all I had, gang. So I'm going to turn it back over to you.